In 1994, I had been living and working in East Africa for 9 years, designing and managing development projects to alleviate poverty in sub-Saharan Africa. I saw refugees pour into the camps from the war and chaos in neighboring Somalia. I observed civil war in Ethiopia and the ongoing conflict in the Congo. There is so much poverty-driven armed conflict in Africa that when you live and work there, you take it for granted after a while, although you never quite get used to it. 1994 was the year of the Rwandan genocide. Just under 1 million men, women, and children who had been living on the edge of poverty for years were brutally murdered. As Elie Wiesel would have said, it had the echo of the Holocaust about it. And as I began to work with colleagues who were Rwandan refugees, the full magnitude of this genocide began to dawn on me. In 1994, the founding director of Veahavta, Avram Rosenzweig, was working at the UJA here in Canada. He also saw that the Rwandan genocide was cut from similar cloth as the Holocaust. He galvanized the UJA and set up a fund for Rwanda. The Jewish community's support was overwhelming. Avram did not stop there. He left the UJA on good terms in order to found Veahavta. Veahavta is a Canadian humanitarian and relief organization that assists the needy at home and abroad through volunteerism, education, and acts of kindness, while building bridges between Jews and other people. Judaism teaches us that poverty is a terrible thing and that we must do something about it. At Veahavta, we stress the importance of hands-on volunteering. Our full-time staff of 10 works with up to 1,000 volunteers a year. At this moment, a team of 7 Veahavta volunteers is boating down the inland rivers of the South American country of Guyana with volunteers from the Lions Club of Guyana. This team is treating patients at free medical mobile clinics and conducting health education seminars with local medical professionals. For the last year, Veahavta volunteers have been providing the children of poor single mothers in Argentina with the love, attention, and food that they so desperately need to survive. Our volunteers have worked with the elderly in a home for the aged in Buenos Aires. We send hundreds of thousands of dollars of crucial medicines to the community pharmacy set up by the Jewish community of Argentina 7 years ago when the economy and social services of that community collapsed. In Africa, our volunteer doctors have developed more effective ways to diagnose and treat AIDS and HIV patients. In Zimbabwe, despite political turmoil, mind-boggling inflation, and an economy in ruins, we send medical supplies to the Seoul Health Center for over 250,000 people. Without these shipments, hundreds, if not thousands of people would die. In Toronto, volunteers ride our van 4 times a week to meet and greet the chronic homeless on the streets, distributing fresh food, sleeping bags, blankets, socks, and other clothes that often make the difference between life and death during the winter. One of the key factors in the fight against poverty is, believe it or not, homework. For new immigrants from East Africa, this is a formidable challenge, in part because immigrant children often pick up English faster than their parents, and also because the parents are not accustomed to the freedom of expression that is permitted and indeed expected by the educational system here in Canada. Veahavta offers an evening homework club that teaches these parents English as a second language, while our tutors work with students on a one-to-one basis. Veahavta volunteers are working or have worked in Israel, El Salvador, Turkey, Sri Lanka, and most recently among refugees from Darfur, who are languishing in the camps of Chad and whose cause has been championed by some of tonight's honorees. Israeli partners of Veahavta have counseled victims of trauma in Chad. In the year ahead, we will continue to send pharmaceuticals to developing countries. We will continue working on the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro. We will return to the headwaters of the Amazon in Guyana. We will maintain our commitment to the Jewish community of Argentina, and we will help to rebuild northern Israel. We believe that poverty is at the root of so much of the world's turmoil. We believe that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We remain committed to Avram's vision of Veahavta as a clearinghouse for Tikun Olam, and we welcome your support and your participation. Thank you very much.